Let's talk structure. COBOL has a hierarchy structure, meaning that it's got things within other things. That's part of what gives it its structure. The biggest things in a COBOL program are divisions, and within those divisions, there are sections. And within those sections, you'll find paragraphs. Those paragraphs contain sentences, and sentences have statements. Let's start at the statement and work our way back out. A statement is a single directive, usually starting with one of those reserved words we just talked about. So something like add, divide, move, compute. Those statements go into sentences. Just like a spoken sentence can reveal many pieces of information, a COBOL sentence can contain one or more statements. It's just a nice way of placing a bunch of statements together into a logical container. So here is a sentence made up of statements, and you can see that at the end, there's a period. That period is an implicit scope terminator. It says all the previous statements that have not yet ended are declared as finished. You can also terminate a scope of a statement using what's known as an explicit scope terminator, like if you started with an if statement and you end with an end if. Then you don't need to specify that you're done with a period. Either way works, and you'll see both used throughout this course. So that's sentences. And what do sentences go into? Well, generally paragraphs. Paragraphs are user-defined, written by you to give your program structure. Generally, a paragraph represents a specific action made up of smaller steps. So if it's something that might get called several times throughout your program, like applying interest or prompting the user for a series of input, that would go into a paragraph. That way, you can call that paragraph by its name from elsewhere in the program. Paragraphs go into sections, and there are all sorts of sections. They can have user-defined or predefined names, so they can be used to give your program structure or to make sure certain information is where it needs to be for things to run correctly. And then there's divisions. And there are 4 COBOL divisions, and we can cover all those right now. First is the identification division, which is where you'd put the name of your program, who wrote it, when it was written, how it should be used, all of that helpful information. Then there's the environment division. There are 2 major sections here. One lets you set the type of computer environment required to run your program, and the other sets up the mapping between the files in your program and the files on the actual data sets. So it's the link between your program and the system it's running on. The data division sets up all the data that will be used within your program. That includes files, data from other programs, what type of storage or memory you'll use while the program is running, and what it will give up when the program ends. Then there's the procedure division. This is where all of those sections and paragraphs go. So the instructions for how to take data in, how to set up the variables, performing math on them, interacting with the user, and all that kind of fun stuff, that happens in the procedure division. Are you ready to see all those statements, divisions, sentences, and paragraphs and actions? I sure hope so, because it's time for a lab, basic COBOL syntax. In this lab, you'll connect to an IBM Z system, check out a simple COBOL Hello World program, and then submit the JCL to compile the program and view the output. Good luck.